We have some breaking free agency news here for the Chicago Bears. Welcome into Bears Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, at my house because, as you can tell, I look like somebody who's getting ready for bed, scrolling through Twitter before I sign off on the night. And lo and behold, a couple of signings come through for the Bears. And hey, I'm actually thrilled to talk about some Bears free agency news as they have signed two players, cornerback Tavon Young, tight end Ryan Griffin. We will talk about both of those guys here. But this is why you subscribe, because whether we're in the studio or we're at the house, we're breaking down the latest Bears news and rumors. So if you want to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Ari Meirov of Pro Football Focus broke down these two signings literally 1 minute apart, starting with Tavon Young, who has agreed to a one-year deal, the cornerback from Baltimore, and then tight end Ryan Griffin as well, who has spent time with the New York Jets and with the Houston Texans. I want to start with Tavon Young because I think this is going to be the more impactful signing. He has spent his first handful of seasons in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens, was a 2016 draft pick as a cornerback out of Temple, and did good things right away as a rookie. Had a couple of interceptions that year in 11 starts. 2017 had some injuries. 2018 came back, had an interception. 2019 more injuries, which lingered into 2020. But last year played all 17 games for the Baltimore Ravens. Had an interception, had a couple of sacks, 3 pass breakups. I thought last year played like one of the best nickel corners in the National Football League. And although he's had some injuries throughout his career, he's only 28 years old, and he's coming off a season, and like I said, he played in all 17 games, and this is what we've talked about. You needed another cornerback. Whether it was an outside corner or a nickel corner, you needed to address one of those two spots in NFL free agency. You could not go into the draft with only Jalen Johnson as a proven starter. Now, Tavon Young has the injury concerns, so you have to factor that in, but it is nice to get a guy in here who knows how to play the position. So now you've got Jalen Johnson, you've got Tavon Young, two guys, starting caliber players that can play in Matt Eberflus's secondary in the back end. I like that quite a bit, and I assume it's going to be a fairly cheap deal after he was released from the Baltimore Ravens, which also should not impact the comp pick formula for those of you who were wondering. So what is your one, or actually, how about this? Do you like the signing of Tavon Young? Type L for like it, type D for dislike. I love this signing. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you like the signing of Tavon Young, type L. If you dislike it, go ahead and type D. A little more on Tavon Young, and then we will break down the signing of Ryan Griffin. So do not go anywhere. Hang with us until the end of the video because we're going to continue to break down both of these moves here late on a Thursday night, just around 11 o'clock Central that we are recording here. Okay, so Tavon Young. I assume he'll plug in. He'll be your nickel corner. Jalen Johnson's going to be one of your outside corners. So now that gives you some options. You could go out and sign another vet outside corner, like a Xavier Rhodes, if you want to go that route. Or you could draft a corner now, which maybe that's the route you go to fill that other outside corner. Unless, Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus feel like a guy on this roster can do that. Maybe they view Thomas Graham as a starter. I'm not sure. Maybe CB2 on the outside is more of a competition. I don't know. We do know is that we've heard a lot about this defense and that how important nickel is. So to bring in a proven nickel, I think is a smart move in Tavon Young. He's a good tackler. He's good in coverage. Pro Football Focus graded him out very, very well last year. And he comes from Baltimore, guys. Baltimore, like Chicago, proven history of defense. Culture, defense, swagger on that side of the football. That's the type of environment he is coming from. And I think in those areas, he will fit right in with Chicago. Hard-nosed guy, and that's what we keep hearing from Matt Eberflus. You got to bring in guys who want to play hard, who don't loaf, who don't take plays off. Tavon Young's going to fit that. He's not going to be a guy that you have to worry about when it comes to work ethic. So I like this signing quite a bit. I think he's a plug-and-play starter. So now you've got 3 surefire starters in the back end. Eddie Jackson, hopefully as a free safety center fielder type, Jalen Johnson, one of your outside corners, and then now Tavon Young. The question is, who are your other two starters? Does one of DeAndre Houston Carson or Dane Cruikshank start at the other safety spot? Maybe. I would rather get another guy in there. And do you have another outside corner? I tend to think you're going to have to add there as well, but you've got 3 of your 5 surefire starters there. I think that's a very good thing. Okay, let's talk about the other signing now. That is tight end Ryan Griffin, who's a little bit older. He was 31 last year. He'll be 32 this year. He spent his first 6 seasons with the Houston Texans, the last 3 with the Jets. Last year, he had 27 catches for 261 yards and 2 touchdowns. The best season of his career yardage-wise and catches-wise, 2016, 50 catches, for 442 and a couple of scores. His touchdown high was in 2019 with the Jets. 5 touchdowns, only had 34 catches for 320 yards. I view this signing as a quality backup, tight end 2, tight end 3 type. Good blocker, can catch the ball if needed. This is like, find a comparison. He'll play the role of a Jesse James. I don't know if he can stretch the field quite like that, but he'll be a tight end 2, tight end 3 behind Cole Kmet. What does this mean for Jesper Horsted? Who knows? I think Jesper Horsted isn't nearly, the blocker of a Ryan Griffin, right? Horsted has, that wide receiver background, so he's, probably not a guy you're going to want to block with a ton. Whereas Griffin can come in 2 tight end sets. He can be a blocker for you. He can catch underneath passes, safety valve for Justin Fields. I think that's the type of player you're getting. I mean, through his count it up, carry the one, 9 seasons, he's got over 2,100 yards and 14 touchdowns. I mean, you're talking about on average per year, he averages, 250 yards and 1.5 touchdowns. Backup depth tight end guy, but you need that, right? I mean, Jesse James, free agent. Jimmy Graham, free agent. They're not coming back. You've got J.P. Holtz, free agent. I don't expect him back. You've got Cole Kmet, who we all expect to be the starter, should be the starter. We need to get a full evaluation of him in this new offense. Jesper Horsted, a guy that we're all high on his upside, but very unproven. I mean, we got to see what he is. So you bring in a guy that is a safety valve, knows how to play. He's been in the NFL this will be his 10th season. You don't have to worry about a guy like this. This is the definition of a veteran pro, right? Like, he'll come in, he'll pick up the offense quickly, he'll block pretty well, he'll catch pretty well, does everything fairly well. Like, you're not going to worry about, like, oh, we have to put Ryan Griffin on the field. Like, no, like, he's going to be just fine for the Chicago Bears. By the way, contract details for him, 1 year, $2.25 million, so cheap deal. Shouldn't impact things on the salary cap very much. I would guess his cap hits, 1.5, 2 million. Nothing major there. We'll see what the contract details are for Tavon Young as soon as we get those. If we get those tonight, I'll pin a comment down below in the comment section of this video. If not, we'll talk about this further tomorrow on a video once we're back in the studios. Which signing do you like more, by the way? Let me know down in the comments. Type TY for Tavon Young, the cornerback. Type RG for Ryan Griffin. I like the Tavon Young signing. I think if he stays healthy, he is a really good piece in your secondary. He's still young. He's athletic. He can tackle well. He can cover. I feel good about this move. Of course, there's some risk with the injury history, but this is what Ryan Poles talked about. Attacking these later waves in free agency, being patient, getting good value on these type of players that, may have been looking for bigger deals like a Tavon Young. Again, we don't have the contract details, but I'm going to assume it's not super hefty. I think this is probably going to be a team-friendly 1-year deal. So you get them on that, 3 weeks, 4 weeks almost into free agency now, as we are, approaching the draft 3 weeks from tonight. You fill up one of those corner spots and you get a veteran tight end at a position, tight end, that you need some depth. You need guys behind Cole Kmet. You do. Depth on a roster is very important. And Ryan Griffin, he's the definition of that. Like, again, the snaps he's going to play, you don't have to worry about him. You don't want him playing 75 snaps a game, but if he plays 40% of the snaps, that's going to be just fine. There's nothing too concerning about that whatsoever. So the news of the night, Ryan Griffin, the veteran tight end, 1 year, $2.25 million with the Chicago Bears per Ari Merov. Also per Merov, you've got Tavon Young on a 1-year deal as well. So feel pretty good about both of those moves. By the way, quick mention here, Ian Rappaport reports that veteran return man / wide receiver DeAndre Carter, who visited the Bears earlier this week, also visited the Chargers. He will sign with LA. He's heading to the Chargers on a deal. So the Bears either opt to not sign him or he chose the Chargers, whatever that ended up happening there. So we'll see if they go in a different direction at return man. We don't know completely how they feel about Daz Newsome, but wanted to cover that news as well. Appreciate you guys tuning in here on a Thursday night. I am back in the office tomorrow, so if we have more details on these signings, we'll cover it then, plus the latest news and rumors. So please subscribe to the channel. We would very, very, very appreciate it as well. I'm Harrison Graham. Also follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram. It's the same handle, at HGrahamNFL, at HGrahamNFL. Subscribe, give me a follow, do all that good stuff. It really helps support me and the show. Hey, we're bringing you videos from the crib because we like to do what we do. All right, appreciate you guys tuning in. If something happens tonight, we'll pop back on, do another video. If not, we will see you guys tomorrow. All right, I'm signing off here on Bears Now. Appreciate you guys watching.